Welcome to anatomy class. Joe Bunk here, channel agronomist. I thought I'd spend a few moments this morning discussing seedling corn plants and the different structures that we see and what function they provide for crop growth and development. I have two plants, one that's just emerged and one that's been out of the ground for about 2 weeks. Let's look at the youngest one first. So this plant, as you can see, is a one-leaf corn plant. Came up yesterday. And you can see the seed, and you can see the seed treatment, and you can see the color on it. Now keep in mind that about 5% of the seed down the row will be the refuge, and it'll be a different color. And you can see these roots that have come out of the seed. Now a corn seed, when you plant it, in good soil seed contact and moisture, the first thing out of the seed will be a radical, the first root that heads down into the soil profile to extract moisture. And shortly thereafter, a shoot will head toward the surface. And the corn shoot is essentially in two sections. And right in the center of it, you can see a seam. If I can get that right. Right there is a seam. Okay, that's the growing point of the plant. From there up is the coleoptile. It's kind of a hard, waxy sheath that goes over the rolled up leaves. And then from that seam right there down is the mesocotyl. Okay? The mesocotyl is like an umbilical cord to the seed. The moisture for this plant are all coming from these seminal roots. Not necessarily so much nutrients. The nutrients are really coming from the seed. But essentially the moisture and the development of this corn plant at this point in its life are dependent upon these seminal roots that come out of the seed. And right here at the crown of the plant, more roots will develop shortly. But once at emergence, the plant looks like that. Now here's a plant that's been out of the ground for a couple weeks, and you can see that we can see 5 leaves. It's actually a V2 plant. And here, again, you can still see the seed color. Let me get that where you can see it. You can still see the seed treatment. You can still see these seminal roots that are coming out of the seed. Okay? You can still see that mesocotyl right there. It's nice and white. But now we see the secondary root system developing out of the crown of the plant, out of these leaf nodes right here. They're below the soil surface. The soil surface would be about right here. Okay, that's where the end of the coleoptile is. But this plant is well on its way to its grand period of growth, if you will, here shortly coming up. You know, the root system here that supports this entire corn crop will come from these nodes right here. And eventually, in the next 3 or 4 weeks, this mesocotyl, this seed, and these seminal roots, again, you can see them here, they essentially won't hold any function. So at this point, that mesocotyl and these seminal roots are not near as important as these secondary roots that are coming out of the node of the plant. So that's the difference you see this time of the year. And this is probably some of the earliest corn we'll see. At this point, it's May the 10th, so we don't see a lot of corn much bigger than this. But you can see the differences in these two plants. Okay, this one doesn't have any secondary roots yet. This one's well on its way.